Anything about Mr. Benn was small. His menu was small and could cook in anything when trouble would come to him. He remembered Mr. Benn, who had a beetle called Leapy, which he had a letter from after he met him in North Harbour. Mr. Benn's cat Sills liked riding in his car, but not vehicles. One day, they were heading to Cornwall to visit a tin mine. Mr. Benn read his newspaper that some people were to take it down, so two told the smugglers that used it tied a load. It's been on route to Naples, so I'll have a third and last look in it, said Mr. Benn. When we arrived in Cornwall, we came to a stop to see the route was blocked by a van. A man came walking up to him after getting out of his cab. "Sorry, mate, you can't come in this village. It's closed for inspection," he said. "Closed for inspection?" Mr. Benn said exasperated. "What for? A beetle's been in Australia after leaving America for a race, and he's hiding somewhere in England." Mr. Benn didn't want to blurt out his confession. He knew already the driver was talking about Leapy, but he didn't know what he wanted from him, so decided to back away and make his visit to the tin mine. Sills was hissing. He didn't like the driver being uncultured. Psst! Suddenly, before we left the village, someone called to them, "Mr. Benn, come in the bushes," whispered a voice. Mr. Benn drove his car to a hoop in a river, stopping by a boat to see where the voice was coming from. He didn't see a pathway, but a curved roof with a careful peak. He saw who was hiding in the bush. It was Mr. Benn and Leapy. "Oh, Mr. Benn, what's going on?" asked Mr. Benn. "We've been visiting Cornwall to find a who, but Leapy's had a panic of seeing a driving school, sort of a driving car school in North Harbour," said Mr. Benn. He told me the lost problem too. He explained Leapy's young days of being built for learning things, hiding a hobby that was unknown to anyone, like racing. Hence, he had racing colours painted on him with a number 51. He was given a chart of wanting to beat a racing car, which he began learning in secret. That is until his driving school was beginning to not like his style. When Leapy was to do his normal driving lesson, he saw his teacher was talking to the other cars and asking him why was he painted in his recent garage. It was telling him he couldn't cope with his driving school and had to practice his laps elsewhere. Mr. Leapy left at night to find a good place to live safely with whom he wouldn't get hunted. He came across a station not far from where he left. It was empty, and there were other cars who were wanting to qualify. A man was in charge, so he asked him if he could race. The man said yes, because, to the Beetle's surprise, he was the Hooper who had ordered him. This lifted Leapy's purpose to make his journey strong, so he joined the other cars. The lesson we were to do was to follow the traffic lights before the practice lap. The other cars wondered why a beetle would enter the race, which was happening after the lesson. Leapy, who he wouldn't ask his driving school. After the lessons, the cars began the real lap. Leapy was to race the first time so as to have the freedom from his first driving school. A horn sounded and we started over the line. Leapy was in the lead. Quite suddenly, his engine was roaring as if it was not sad and weak. The other cars tried to catch up but couldn't. The race ended and Leapy won a cup for being a first-class racer. The other cars who lost their path when trying to beat him. As soon as the beetle left the race, the man in charge told him he could race in no service so as to show the world he was not a sad scholar and live somewhere in it. Leapy was pleased to have lessons, not a lack, but he had trouble coming to him. While heading to the pool, he thought he'd better check on his driving school. His class was still there, and he couldn't let them see him return to scowl at his racing style. As he had expected, the school was looking for him. One of them spotted him at the gate. Now was the time to leave. He were mad, and he couldn't tell them his race lesson so away, but not tell the poop on the drive to Leapy to Springs in Irving's Hooper. It did him no good. His class started pursuing him on the highway. Leapy tore off the highway into another. But he was driving through the country to find a farm and a toll early. His clothes were easily shaken off, and the teacher, who had a motorbike, decided to find him herself. So he arrived in the town, finding a house next to the pig shop, and ducked into it, pressing a button to shut the door. His teacher stopped to scan the area to see where the car went hiding in. Inside the warehouse, Leapy saw some crates which were good to hide himself, and what was more, there was another door. Another button was with it. He pressed it open, the door. Once through it, he discovered himself in Auckland. It was, of course, Bruce Hurdler he arrived in. All he could find a racetrack to do his sea lap. Years later, he came to England, and we were driving her to avoid the chase. That man you met was a henchman to his class. Mr. Benn finished the story. He sounded girlish when we met him, said Mr. Bean, which means I've met them in that van. Better make a move to the tin mine. We want that van to hunt Leapy. Mr. Bean led the way. We went through the ford and up a hill to find the undogged building. While driving up, we stopped at the top to check for the van. It's still in the village, but we can't stay up for long to let them spot us, said Mr. Bean. That's the drive to the tin mine, Mr. Benn pointed. We went into the side drive behind a thick hedge. It wasn't long before we saw the tin mine. Suddenly, Sils got hold of the menu running towards the entrance of the building. He came back and dropped the poofter. Benn and Bean had a look at it. On it was a picture of Leapy with words written underneath. Wanted, missing beetle from a driving school, it said. Stupid, exclaimed Mr. Bean. No wonder his classmates hates his racing style. He was stupid from a factory after the cook painted him and ordered him. I think he'll live with the Millers. He can be safe with them. said Mr. Benn. Let's look in the mine before we could tell them all time, said Mr. Bean. They did so. Then went driving back onto the mill. Suddenly, self-moved. They saw the van along with the other cars whom Leapy met before when being kidnapped. I hope Leapy's gone to proper school, but this is all bonkers, flabbergasted Mr. Bean. He signalled to Mr. Benn to follow him to find wheels. The van and the cars saw them over, who began stalking them. Mr. Bean and Benn came to wheels. They went into the woods, then up a hill towards a farm. Mr. Bean had an idea. They came to the hoop farm. When arriving in the property, finding a can of grease, took it in one of their cars and went driving to the beach. When they got there, Mr. Bean began the trick. His idea was to put the grease all over the roof so as to make the end slippery, to make their chasers slip into the sand of the beach. Mr. Benn followed a box of wool left from the barn, so put it at the end. Once the trap was finished, we had to wait. There was a slipping crack-up crash as the chasers arrived. The van that crashed into the box of wool, followed by the other cars, plus a police car. We wish to ask you a reason why you want to reconnect a beetle in a racing style, said an officer. We want him out of it to look like us as we're normal, said the lady. I do believe that's true. He belonged to the man in charge of a proper school for racing cars. So you're under arrest for treating him like a hooper. He's built the way he is, said a man who was on holiday. I'm his coach, Troppy Poppy, and I bought that car. That's what I hope Mr. Bean about, officer, said Mr. Benn. Those who charge for creating a fake school will clean up the mess as you arrest her so-called school. Come quietly. Once they were arrested with cleaning up the trap, Troppy showed the man a place for Leapy. He had moved to England, however, since the beetle had left America to do his reaching. He lived in a manner of a great uncle that had prize caps for manly car races. His first car was a black Benn, which was sent to him all the time, and he had an empty garage for Leapy to live in with him. Mr. Bean and Benn were pleased the beetle had a living place to live in. He could manage the life journey for the decades to come. Oops.